Well, hello there. Welcome to the stream, Magic Monsters. This is an interesting stream today. Today, we're going to try something a little bit different. Today, I'm going to talk about and work on a board game design, which is completely different from a video game design. Is it different? Is it completely different? How different is a board game design from a video game design? There are some games like Gloomhaven here. My friend won't play this with me. He won't. He's got a board game channel now on YouTube, and it's called, what's it called? Board game components review. What's it called? Board game something. He's been growing it, but it's still growing. I don't know. Board game something. What does my subscriptions say? I'm sure I've subscribed to it, right? Subscriptions. Show 116. Can you search for your subscriptions? I don't know. I wanna call out his thing, but I can't remember his thing. Board game casual. So my friend's channel, Board Game Casual, he won't play with me. Everyone go do me a favor. Everybody, by everybody I mean 3 of you, go to Board Games Casual and subscribe, and then comment on any of these about Gloomhaven. Just ask, oh, are you going to do Gloomhaven next? What do you think about Gloomhaven? When's the Gloomhaven review going to come out? What do you think about the Gloomhaven components? He won't play Gloomhaven with me because he thinks it's a better video game, and maybe it is. I own the video game. I played it a little bit. Maybe it's better as a video game, but it's our running joke now because I have Gloomhaven. I've never played it. I have Jaws of the Lion. Played it only once, not with him. And I have Forgotten Circles, an expansion to Gloomhaven, still wrapped, right? So it's our running joke. So everybody, do me a favor. Go to Board Game Casual. Subscribe or like if you want, or don't subscribe. I don't really care. He might, but I don't. And then go to any of these videos and just say something about Gloomhaven, okay? That would be hilarious. Anyways, links in the chat there. Board Game Casual. So the point is, what's the difference between video games and board games? Not much. They're games, right? If you can define a game, you can define either one. One of them's on a screen, I suppose. The other is not, is on a table. But there's a lot of very similarities about the game design, themes, mechanics, all that. Certainly, if we think about trading card games, take Magic the Gathering for a classic tabletop trading collectible card game, I guess, and then Hearthstone. Certainly, Hearthstone can do way more things than Magic the Gathering in person can ever do because it's digital. You can do things that are impossible to do in a physical game. Changing cards from one to another just like that and all that stuff. Board games and Magic the Gathering. And what's TTS? What is TTS? What is TTS? I need to keep up my friend's show because later I want to remind people because there's just so few. Oh, Tabletop Simulator. I looked into that. I see so many videos of people demonstrating their games with Tabletop Simulator, and I was thinking about, well, when I work on these designs that I'm going to show you soon, should I just make them in Unity? Because I make them physical, and I put them on a table and I play with myself. Don't take that out of context. I play the board games with myself to see how they are. All right, and that's how I try to do my best at being a regular person. I try to do my best at finding the fun and eventually I'll show it to other people. But when I'm working on the math of the game, the balancing, trying to figure out new mechanics, it's really hard to change things because first you have to remember what you changed. Going back can be difficult if you scratch out cards or change cards or something. The other thing is sometimes you just have to produce more stuff. Like one of the games, here, I'll show you. I'm gonna show you. Okay, let's try out this. I put up a new camera thing. Let's do this. I'm gonna go here, down here, down there. I tried to angle it so that my belly isn't just like obviously in the view, you know what I mean? But now my screen is there. So now you can see my little work stop. There's my well, let's do the board game scene. There you go. You've got my now cleaner desk. Work over here, day job over here, giant screen. So this is I've got 2 boxes for this. This is the game, the big game that I have designed. That this is the one that people were excited to play at the day job before COVID. They would ask me to bring it. And so this is the box all screwy, but this is the type of things I'll create here. These are printed, and then I sliced them. These are on the paper. I got this really nice thick cardstock. It's not like normal cardstock. It's really thicker. And then cut it, and then you get a corner punch thing. So if you're making these and then you're like, oh shit, I want to change something. It's really hard to change something, right? And in case in point, the other night, I was thinking about a new idea, similar design. So I printed out these cards, same card stock. This time I printed front and back on the same because I just kept it very simple. Because I know I'm going to change these. This was my first thought, but I still wanted physical cards because it's different. So I made these, and then as they were printing, I was like, oh shit, I forgot to put on how much damage they do back. Or no, how much damage you need in order to get a hit on them. So, but it's okay. It's paper. I could just write on it. That's the whole point. And speaking of writing, sometimes you just do this. Sometimes you just write on a card. You can get all these blank cards, write things down, get these pens. These are friction pens. Friction. These are amazing. They're erasable. So as an example, I will show you. It's a magic trick. You can draw on a card, and then when you're ready to, or when you want to, you can just go like this, and it erases. Now, the only problem with these is it also erases with heat. So if you leave your stuff in a hot car, you're going to lose it all. So they don't tell you that on the box. Anyways, so I made these tokens. Now these ones I actually got sticker sheet. So I bought some card chipboard, on Amazon, and some sticker sheets. Printed out the sticker sheets, very carefully put them on both sides of the card stuff, and then printed them out. So I like to have nice, pretty things, right? When you're doing stuff like that, it's pretty. I didn't need a back for those, but the brown back just wasn't good. Hey, the bull, how are you? Sorry to disappoint. I named it something about booze, but I'm drinking iced coffee. It's been a while since I actually had a drink on a stream. And here's the other box. I'll show you what else is. So I have some old rules that are now being changed. Player cards, and this is something. You know what's changed? You know what the big difference between these cards that I would make a few years ago when I made these and these cards that I would make today? What's the big difference? Wager a guess. Gamble a wager. AI. From now on, I'm going to use AI to do this art. Why? Because I stole these from the internet. Now, these are prototypes. I'm never going to sell this. This artwork isn't going to be sold commercially. I stole it from the internet because I wanted something nice. So I just looked up concept art. That's what people do. That's what people did. Now, we can make AI images. Now, I'm still not going to go to market with the AI images, probably. First of all, I'm probably not going to go to market. Second of all, if I do go to market, it probably won't be me going to market, but a publisher. Third of all, even if it was me going to market, I would probably try to hire an artist if I have the money. If I don't, then who knows? All bets are off. So we got all these cards here. Got your little tokens. You can buy these online. TheGameCrafter.com is a great resource for stuff like that. More things. I got these printed at TheGameCrafter.com. They're too small, but what can you do? I got this blank round counter at Board Game or whatever. I got a board. I got a blank board, and then I put paper on it to make the board. The board's totally out of date now. And this is my crowning achievement. These player boards with little divots right there. You can see that, and these little things. So you go there, and this game was pretty fleshed out. there's a couple things about it that that irk me, and I was trying to speed it up, but I made these with a foam board underneath, and then on top this is actually like I think 2 or 3 layers of that thicker cardstock. I glued them all together, so I printed one with the base down there and the base down there, and you can see that's the old design, again handwritten. This is the newest one with much more easy to read numbers. And then I glued other things, or then I cut these out and then glued them on after gluing a few layers, maybe 2 or 3 layers of the paper. It was a pain in the ass, but it looked cool, and everyone likes it when they see it, and it makes the prototype look much more like, you know, a real thing, even though it doesn't look like a real thing, but you get the sense of like, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. Anyways, that's enough. I'm putting this away. So this is why I was doing I pulled this out. Like I said, during COVID, that ruined everything because suddenly I couldn't play test anymore. I couldn't see people anymore. The people I were living with didn't want to play it with me because you know, it was a silly game versus all these other fun games that we had to play. So we played games, but not that. All right. But I pulled it out, and I want to update it a little bit, right? I'll switch back to this for a minute. I wanted to update it, and so the other night I was on a mastery group call that I always forget to go to. What do I play? What's F? I've never heard of that. What is FF8 triple triad? Is that Final Fantasy 8? I'm like stretching my neck because the thing's over there to read. Final Fantasy 8. I started chatting to my friend here, the AI, as you can see on the screen. And, well, first of all, I noticed the AI, you can chat for longer now than you used to. Oh, that's cool. My first card game was actually inside Might and Magic 7, I think it was. There was a card game called Archimage. They actually released it as a full standalone game at one point. But you could play it in the inns, which was a neat concept, that you could go to the inn and sit down and play a card game. Like, I really like that. I want to put that concept in my game. So I started talking about it, and I was like, how can I use the ChatGPT to improve my game? So we were talking throughout that I started making these because I was like, okay, let me try to simplify things. So I started getting ideas, right? The old noggin started getting ideas. And here we go. There's my belly. So I started making these just things. I'll show on the screen too, I guess. Where is it? Board game maths. I was doing maths. Let me go back to, whoops. Not thanks for watching. Click the wrong button. I got board game maths here. And this was the new weapon. So one of the things I changed recently, like last week, was let me add more weapons. There weren't enough, and change it so that anyone can buy them. There still needs to be a method of not letting people save up 30 gold right away, and because you could do that in the first 3 rounds if you get lucky. This game has a lot of die rolling, so you kind of build your estate. You got a yellow die, and everybody's turn, on everyone's turn. So 4 times, if you got 4 players, 4 times around, you roll your die, and whatever it lands on, you get that reward. So it's possible to get 30 gold very quickly if you get very lucky. And then you can buy this weapon, then of course you just kick ass because the weapon, the average is 6 versus the starring weapons, the average is 2. So you're going to be doing a lot more damage and potentially devastating damage at that. So you can only, in the game now, you can only buy 1 level up. So you have to actually go to the town 4 or 5 times to buy the top weapon. And then that forces you to also spend money on the other weapons, which is good. Anyways, the point is, that was actually a good improvement. Having more weapons was a good improvement. Made the game better. I liked it. But I still have the issue where this game has, because it's fantasy. Let me make this a little bit bigger, actually. How's that? All right. So this game is fantasy based. So there's half orc knights, dwarf knights. So there's 4 classes, 4 races: half orc, dwarf, elf, human, knight, druid, mage, and archer. And your stats, might and magic, are based on the combination of those two. They each have base stats, and then depending on the combination, you get that, and depending on the combination, you get a special starting token for your estate. You can choose one or the other of either the race or the class, and you get to choose a special bonus, again, either the race or the class on your player card that lets you have a special power basically throughout the game. The problem was that the half-orc knight is all about might, the elf mage is all about magic, and the game is mostly balanced, except if these characters in the middle that are both might and magic, that have a nice mixture, if they don't do the right thing, they're going to lose the game. And that's a problem, because you don't want to have a situation where if you're an elf knight, you pretty much have to buy an of fire, of ice, of mind, or of magic enchantment for your weapon. Otherwise, you're going to lose the game. You don't. That's a bad situation, because then the player doesn't really have agency. They're just trying to get there. And since it's a luck-based game, luck management game, really, what are you going to do? If you get some shit rolls, you're screwed. And you know, I was doing, this is another tool of the trade here, the old piece of paper. And I was playing the game with myself, just, you know, it takes 2 hours, but playing with myself and figuring out who won. And this is going to be the mage. This is going to be the orc. These are going to be the other two. These were earlier ones, but I was quickly finding, I think this is after I changed some things. The mage won big time here. These two lost big time. And this one was losing the entire time, you know. So that player's not having any fun. And this one, this player, same character, won with 73 points, 30 points almost over these other two. And this was the mage, this was the half orc. And this was another one. And this one, I purposely went with the strategy for each of these. And this strategy, he just kicked ass. Now, there was some reasons at the end why he got so many points in that last round. He used some powerful potion cards that let him attack again and again, which I think, new rule, you can only use one per round. And new rule, if you steal the leadership, you don't get to steal the bonus as well. So there are some other reasons, but either way, that player would have won. And the reason why they won is because right here, they got the of magic or mind, or they basically got an enchantment on their weapon that let them roll an entirely different die. And instead of taking just the weapon and the might values, they were able to take those two plus the magic value. And that's great for somebody who has these two together. They get to roll more dice. They have more opportunity to roll sixes. They'd score more. Anyways, so I did some maths. This is all my math skills, right? And then one of the other things is I added more. So I was thinking, because the other issue is that the half orc knight and the elf mage, they're focused on just their main stats. Right? And so I decided, okay, if everybody gets the equal amount more, then the average comes up, right? So the people at the lowest trough, they come up at a greater proportion. So I tried that, and that worked. But then the game got chaotic at the end, because suddenly, it's only 10 rounds, but suddenly, like, there was so much damage being done because everyone leveled up faster. The more damage you do, the more you level up, the more experience you get. And the problem was, all of a sudden, they were leveling up really fast, and they were doing more and more damage, so it just kind of cascaded, right? Anyways. Anything in the chat? Nope, nothing in the chat. By the way, for those of you who have just joined, everybody needs to do something. Everybody needs to go to Board Game Casual. I'm going to, again, link it in the chat here. Go to this site. This is my friend's website, my friend's YouTube channel. He just started it not too long ago. He's been working away, doing all these videos. He's got a lot of subscribers. You can subscribe if you want, but I need you all to comment on any of these videos. It doesn't matter which one. Find a video, comment, and mention Gloomhaven. You can ask, when are you going to do Gloomhaven? What do you think about Gloomhaven? Oh, this reminds me of Gloomhaven. Doesn't matter what it is. You just have to comment about Gloomhaven. Do you know why? Because we have a running joke, because we won't play Gloomhaven. I own it. I've never played it. I want to play it, but he won't play it with me. There's reasons. It's funny, and now we have a running joke. So I think it would be hilarious if he got a lot of Gloomhaven comments all at once. I'm seeing him tomorrow. Thank you, the Bull. You're my hero. I'm seeing him tomorrow, so I'm not going to tell him, and I'm going to wait to see if he brings it up. So I'll send another reminder later in the stream, but this is hilarious. And also, I have another game. I have a What's in the Box channel, by the way. It's probably going to die because I only did 3 videos, and then I couldn't get the stupid camera thing to work. But I was just opening boxes. I like opening boxes, and a lot of my game boxes were not opened, so I decided to make these videos. But then I realized I need to focus on the stuff that I actually do for side income rather than a brand new other thing. But either way, board game casual. Yeah. So okay, back to the point of this whole thing. Let me sip on this iced coffee. Well, so the point of this whole thing, I had an epiphany. 2 nights ago, I had an epiphany. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this over here so that I can see it on this screen. How much of it is now visible on your screen? Fair amount. I just want to be able to see what you can see and also see the chat. And right now my screen is so... Oh, there we go. I can make it look like this. My screen is so far... So I should do this more often. So far pointed down that it hurts my head just to even look at it. Oh, I'm getting an ad. Anyways, so I had an epiphany 2 nights ago. I was doing this. This is my messy handwriting, by the way. That's my handwriting. How often do you even use handwriting anymore? So I was working out on the original game, trying to figure some things out. And then I had an epiphany. And so last night, the night before, whatever night it was, I sat down and I started writing stuff down. And then this is what I wrote last night. On paper, because sometimes it's nice to write on paper. And again, these friction pens, they're great because you can erase them, but they're great because they're multiple colors, so you can color code things. See that little heart right there? See that? Isn't that cute? And they got thicker pens too, so you can do different things. And, you know, that's why I made this. This was my unicorn game. This was the first version. I luckily just found the correct version that has cards I printed myself. I should bring that out sometime. That's a much more family-friendly game, but it's very fun. If you like Splendor, you'd probably like it. But okay, so I had these ideas and I went crazy. And then last night I started typing it out. So this was my ideas on paper. And then I went, oh God, Clank, yeah. So then I brought out Thunderstone Quest and Clank, and I drew out what these cards might look like just to visualize the different things I might need on the cards. It gets the brain moving, right? Then I went through Clank cards. I don't know if you play Clank. Clank's a fun game, and this game is going to be a deck building game, and Clank is a deck building game. It's one of my favorite games. They have things with different stats or currency, I suppose, skill, boots for movement, attack for attacking things, a cost on the card, of course, victory points, and some of the cards have an effect. Actually, about 75% of the cards that I went through had an effect. So I went through a bunch of cards. I went through 2 pages, wrote down all the cards. I excluded a bunch of cards that have negative effects or something like that, or that were just outliers, because I took this and then I put it into a spreadsheet here, Clank cards, did this, and then I went to ChatGPT. I went to the AI and I said, hey, here is a CSV. I exported this as a CSV. Try to help me figure out what the math is behind these cards. And it helped. It didn't get right. It was neat just to see it try, though, honestly. It was really neat to see it try, but it didn't get it right. In the end, I got it right. I think close enough. So these are the cards that have no effect. And these are their costs and their skills and their other things. And so what I realized is this is my difference. This is my so this is my prediction zone of the cost, and this is the actual cost. So I should put this as like orange or something. So this is my prediction zone. This is the difference, and I want to get as close to 0 as possible. What's Grimoire? What is that? What is that? An aside. Grimoire. Book of Spells. Textbook of Magic. I don't think that's right. I mean, coding. Aha. Coding. What is this? There's a ChatGPT add-on? Yeah, I haven't used any of those yet. I need to spend more time. I don't have time because I'm busy doing all this other stuff. Learn to prompt gram. Conjure a website or anything with a sentence. 20 plus hotkeys for coding flows. Learn prompt first code. Plus art with 75 star projects. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to minimize this and check this out off the stream. But thank you, Nicholas. Do you go by Nicholas or Nick? I called you Nix at first because I was confused as I glanced over at your name. I hope that wasn't insulting. So I've realized that in general, if a thing has 1, it's worth 0.5. If a thing has 2 of that same thing, it's worth 1. If it has 3 of that same thing, it's worth 3. And I think there's some other math. There's some that applies, I think, to these 3 things, the basic things. Points, I believe, has a slightly different multiplier, which is why we get off here, because these are ones with points. But the ones that don't have points are where we're closest in the numbers. And I think for this one, there has to be a minimum of 1 cost, so that's why. In fact, we should say max between 1 and that would be more appropriate. Yeah. So then we can go down there. Okay. So now we're a little bit closer. And so I think that's the biggest thing. So there must be a slightly different modifier on the points, because some of them have 7 and it didn't scale properly when we went all the way up there. This one only has 7, so I was able to put 7 and just make it work. But anyways, so I did that. What else was I doing? I'm almost done talking. I did ChatGPT help me with a bunch of other stuff. It exported. It had CSVs that I could export. It had all these that I could export. That were these monsters right there. Anyways, so this is the idea for this game. Now earlier today I wrote all this out. This was no ChatGPT. This was all ChatGPT Andrew and Magic Pig. Chat Magic Pig BT. Yeah. So I wrote all of this down. And here's the deal. I want to make a deck building game. I like deck building. I still like deck building. Do you know the reference? Huh? Do you know the reference? I like deck building. I still like deck building. Now let me change the future of the country because of deck building. All right. Anyways. There's some unique bits to this. So a lot of deck building games is, like if we take Clank. Let me bust out Clank. We're going to bust out Clank. It's a big box because it's the legacy one. If you like Clank and you haven't played the legacy one, get the legacy one. It's really neat. It's really nice. It's fun. It's a great game. Definitely worth the price. You'll spend hours and hours and hours. All right, so Clank has a board. You move around the board. And that's the gimmick, right? I don't know. Physical games, I don't know how hard it is. I know some people who are fairly well known in the industry. So I feel like I have a decent chance of at least getting seen by publishers, but I really don't know. So Clank has these cards. You start out with a basic deck, and a lot of the I'll show you on these actually. The cards will have some of different things. So these are 2 of the basic cards. There's a shit ton of these cards. You can always buy them, and they got a cost down here, 3 and 2, and they have a few things here. So they have the skill, which is this blue on the top left. It's kind of like money. They have boots, which is movement on the board, because in Clank you do move around a board. So that's movement, and sometimes you'll have more, sometimes you'll... And then there's these swords, which are attack. There's monsters in the game that you can attack and get rewards, essentially. That's the only point of them. But also, on the board, there's these little symbols, and you need swords to get through these, or you take 1 damage. And if you take too much damage, you die, and you lose the game. See, that's why I wanted to do the tabletop simulator. Did you like Catan? Catan's a fine game. That's it. We used to play Catan for like 2.5 years. The only thing we ever played was Catan. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, you know there's other games? Because we didn't really play other games. And then we were like, what? And we played Dominion. We're like, holy shit. And now look at my shelf. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I need to look into tabletop simulator. But I digress. So in Clank, the skill is buying cards. You buy cards with skill. So when it's your turn, I think you take 5 cards or something like that. Suddenly you've got 5 cards in your hand and they're in front of you, and you're like, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skill. I can now buy a card that's in the market for up to 7 gold. I can only buy 1, but I can buy something that's worth up to 7 skill, not gold. And that's how you buy stuff. Most card or deck building, I keep saying card drafting, but most deck building games have this mechanism where your cards have value on them. And Thunderstone Quest, which I have, oh my god, this is heavy, this right here, has a very similar thing. You've got value on the cards. Sorry. Oh, that's a heavy box. Value on the cards, and that's how you buy more cards. And what's genius about that, of course, is it allows you to make new cards that have different value bases, but also it keeps players from buying expensive stuff too fast, because you always start with the simple stuff, where if you're lucky, you'll have 4. If you're lucky, if you're really lucky, you might get 5, but that's if you get only the best cards in your first pull, which is very rare. But then you're not going to get the movement, or you're not going to get the attacks or something like that. So it's a natural progression gatekeeper that keeps everyone from advancing too fast. So that's neat. But my game is not going to have that, unless it turns out what I've just written down here on the screen sucks, and then maybe I'll change it, because just like coding, you need to refactor your prototypes and stuff. So the mechanism to purchase cards is going to be gold and gems. And these are going to be tokens. These are going to be physical tokens. You're going to be playing cards that sometimes those cards give you gold, give you gems. You're going to take them. You're going to have them. You keep them round after round until you've saved up enough. Then you can buy the things you want to buy. So that's a different thing. The cards will have symbols. There's going to be, what did I say? There's going to be damage, defense, and initiative on the cards that attack, the attack cards, and item cards that augment your attacks. But the concept of your card has value that you spend while you have it in your hand, that won't exist. So that's one difference from a lot of card or deck building games. The other thing is that all players are going to take actions on other players' turns. So in most deck building games, again, I haven't played them all, but all that I've played, at the end of your turn, you discard your cards and you take brand new cards. In this game, you're going to take, I don't know exactly yet, but let's say you potentially already have cards in your hand, but you're going to take up to, what is it, 6 plus your level, because you're going to level up in this game as well. So at the beginning, you're going to take 7 cards, have it in your hand. Now, at the end of your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so here's 7 cards as an example. At the end of your turn, you're allowed to keep 2 plus your level in your hand. So you can use them all right now on your turn, attack, go to town, do stuff, and spend every single card you have, or you can choose to hold some back. So you discard the rest, discard down to, if you haven't hit, you discard the ones that you used, you discard down to the amount you're allowed to hold, and then it's the next player's turn. So that means the other players, while it's your turn, they all have potentially a few cards in their hand. And once they're level 4, they'll have 6 cards in their hand. Once they're level 5, they'll have 7 cards in their hand during your turn. And that means on your turn, you can choose to go to town, which means you're going to buy new stuff. You're going to play cards that have a town effect. But that's your turn. And you just buy, that's the buying new stuff, healing, maybe stuff like that. Other players can either play a town card, so again, a card that has a town effect, or they do nothing. But if you choose to attack a monster, and that's the main point of the game, attacking the monsters, killing the monsters, defeating them, and when you defeat them, there's going to be victory points. Every time you hit them, each one has multiple hits, and it's very similar to this concept, where this one takes 16 hits to be defeated. And you just need to have the attack equal to or greater to get one hit. And if it requires 3, if its defense is 3, then you need an attack or a damage of 3 to do 1 hit. If you have an attack or damage of 7, you'll do 2 hits, and you'll lose the last hit left over. But you'll get 2 hits. So over the course of the game, you're going to start doing more and more hits. The monsters will get harder, but you're going to end up, in the beginning, you'll be doing 1 hit. At the end, you'll be doing 3, 4, 5 hits at a time. And with more people having more cards and more powerful cards, when I go to attack on my turn, all the other players now get to choose to join the attack if they want. And if they do, I get a bonus, so an extra victory point, basically. It's a consolation prize, and I also get to attack first, which is good to attack first, because the monster might die. If this only has 6 left, and I put 3 on them, then 3 other players join. Well, some of them are not going to get to attack, and then that sucks for them. But when they join the attack, they're going to have less cards than you. So they're generally going to do less damage. And some of those cards might not even be attack cards, so maybe they can't join the attack. Maybe they've chosen a different path, like they've chosen other cards because they want to play a town card. There could be some town effect cards that say it does something or it does something else if it's not your turn. Or like if, does something else on an elf's turn. So you might want to wait until it's somebody else's turn to play that card. So you hold it off until it's their turn, then you choose to play it for some better effect. So stuff like that. So that's another big thing, is this game is, when it's not your turn, you still are playing. You're playing the game all the time. You don't stop playing. You won't, once you use a card on somebody else's turn, you discard it. So you're going to slowly, lose your cards throughout that time. But if your card has an effect that says draw more cards, well, you get to draw more cards, right? When it's somebody else's turn. So there's going to be a lot of strategy involved with what cards you hold in your hand when it's other people's turns and how you use that. Let's see. Some comments in the chat. Catan was fun. That's good. Never a huge board game person, but I enjoyed it. Well, that's nice. Did you have good friends and some drinks? Because that always helps. Diablo-style randomized loot in a board game. Everything shuffled. How would you do that? I mean, you could throw a bunch of dice, have some of the dice be modifiers of, like, red dice are weapons or items rather, blue dice are modifiers, and you roll the dice and that's what you get. You could do that. Dice are expensive in games, so they don't get produced too much of heavy dice games. So that was the other big thing. The game's over probably when all the bad guys are ending. The current game, the old game, was 10 rounds because it takes 2 hours to get through 10 rounds. And at that point, if you're not getting close to killing the bad guys, then the game's over. You're taking too long. This game, I don't know. We'll see. Currently, I say the game's over when all monsters have been defeated. But I got my note here. Or perhaps when a set number of things happen. We'll see. So yeah, so that's the big thing about this game. So now the next step, I've got the ideas down. And I think they're pretty good personally. I think I'm excited about this one. In my head, and in practice is always different than in your head. So went every date I've been on. In my head, this game totally works. I'll put that up there. Don't fall. But of course, in practice, who knows, right? So, I guess you could do a treasure draw pile that just has cards, so you get an item, and maybe some of the items are blank. So, like let's say you got these 2 decks here, and this deck is the items. This deck is like prefixes. This deck is suffixes. So I love prefix and suffix attributes. So the whole, like, here's a sword and here's a magical sword of fire or of doom or of whatever. So you could have a card and you flip that, and if it says an item, you're great. You flip this and it says, oh, nothing. So now you get that item. You could do that for randomization, and then maybe as the game progresses, the the little decks you pull from get better. And maybe you can even mix and match the different ones. I don't know. There's probably ways to do it. The big challenge with tabletop design, I have to remember you guys see my hands move because otherwise it's boring. The big challenge with tabletop design, of course, is the speed. A lot of things take time, and downtime is a killer for tabletop games. It's boring. You don't want people to be boring. That's why I'm trying to make this game one where you're always playing, where you're constantly doing stuff, because it's always your turn. It's somebody else's turn, but you're still going to do something. And part of the issue with my first game is that it does take some actions just take more cognitive time to do the math, because in that game, if you're attacking with an enchanted weapon, allows you to roll now your weapon die, your might die, which are the two you always roll when you attack, but also now your magic die. Then you have to look, okay, I got 4 here. Oh, I'm going to use a potion to make that 5. Okay, so I got 5 here. That's worth 7. Then I got 3 here, and that's worth. And all of a sudden, you're like doing the math. And even me, as I'm playing it with myself out on the kitchen table, pretending I'm all players. Even me, suddenly I'm like, oh wait, what was that again? Wait, and I have to go back and remind myself what the first one was. I'm like, okay, too many numbers, too much addition. And here's an interesting thing I was thinking about last night. There's a difference. Oh, and then once you do the math, right? Then you let's say, oh, I got 17. Now you have to say, well, I need to divide 17 by 5 because that's how many cubes I get. So you need 5 to get 1 cube. And so 17 equals 3 cubes because 17 divided by 5 is 3 point whatever. So you get 3 cubes. And I was thinking there's a difference between doing division or something that seems like division and addition. And when you have to add before you do divide, now you're switching things. So now you're adding, then you have to divide and come up with so there's too many numbers, too many operations. So it's much easier to say, oh, and this is actually written out here. Points per cube. It's level 1. It needs 3. So when you're looking at your cards and you see the attacks, all you have to do is add up smaller numbers. Oh, here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'm going to take 3 from my board. That's 9. Good. Now I got 1, 2, 3. And you can, as you're going, adding these numbers, you're ticking off in your head maybe. Oh, that's 1 cube. That's a 2nd cube. Oh, I just need 1 more to make a 3rd cube. And so it's just a lot easier. And I think that's going to make basically the same concept faster. And also no dice. You're not rolling dice. Maybe I'll throw in a die for some card special ability that has a randomizer, but no die rolling, so you're not worrying about doing that. So that should speed things up a lot. So what's the next step? The next step is kind of designing some cards, honestly. So in my just text-based design document here, or rule document, we have a list of different cards we're gonna need. So and let me talk this through. Maybe I'll come up with an idea, or maybe some of you have some thoughts, because honestly, hey Drake dude, how are you? Thanks, Drake dude. See you later. Glad you came to give it a thumbs up. By the way, there's only 1 thumbs up, and I gave myself a thumbs up earlier. Yep. Unless I just reload. Oh, there's more. Okay, I just didn't reload. So if you haven't given it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up. Like and subscribe. Give a heart. Give a happy face. Give a celebration. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up. You know, these kids, my friends' kids, they give each other thumbs down, and that makes one of them cry. The 9-year-old, he'll cry. He'll be like, my brother gave me a thumbs down. He said he's going to unfriend me. And that makes him cry. He doesn't even have Facebook. Anyways, so there's going to be a bunch of different cards. So the whole point is you've got, and we can use this down here. These are not valid things, but I was prototyping. So you have your player board down here, your character card here, your stash of different stuff, some trackers here, might, magic, health. These are going to be things that for the might and the magic. If you're doing a physical attack, you can use cubes here to increase the damage. But then, these other cards will allow you to fill it back up. And over time, you'll level up and increase this. So that's just another way to get more damage and to mitigate the luck. So you got these. And then up here, you're going to have a few bad guys that you can attack. Some of them will have cubes on them already. And on your turn, you're going to have your set of cards in front of you. I'm just going to take some random cards. So you're going to have some cards in front of you, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to attack. But to attack, you need a mercenary, because you can't attack. You're the hero, and so I guess you're like the general. You don't attack. You send mercenaries out. So cards that you buy in the town include mercenaries. So you get a mercenary, and you can only attack if you can do damage. Like the part of the rule is going to be simplified. Like you can't, unless you have a randomization mechanic, which might not exist in the game, but unless you have one and you might do damage, you can't even attack. Like you're not allowed to. If I only have 2 and I need 3, you can't attack. Anyways, so I've got my cards here, and I say I'm going to attack. So you just throw out your cards, and unlike a lot of deck building games, you've got your cards in front of you and they're public. In this one, they're private until you play them. So I say I'm going to attack. I've got a mercenary, and then I've got an item or a weapon or something that's going to increase. The mercenary is going to have their own stats, their own attack, defense, initiative. The other things are going to have more of that, the other cards. And you can play just one mercenary and attack with just one mercenary. You can use all your might and make that mercenary super powerful and smite the bad guy. Or you can have other cards, weapons, armor, items, magic spells, etc., that do even more damage and more defense and more initiative. Initiative, I didn't talk about that earlier. I should get into that as you go. And some of those cards are going to have dual purpose. Some of them will have an estate effect at the top and an attack effect. And if you attack with them, the estate effect doesn't happen. It's only the attack effect. But if you play them during an estate when you're going to town, and you're not attacking, so there's no attack issue or effect, then you get a different effect. So there's all sorts of different interesting combinations that we have to kind of flesh out in a first prototype. So that's the general gist. You buy cards, then you discard and all that. So what we really need to do now is design some of these cards. So we know we've got the enemy cards. We got the mercenaries. That seems pretty straightforward. You need at least one mercenary. You can have multiple to attack at any time. So you're going to have to get some mercenaries. Your weapons and armor. And maybe there will be a hero card. Maybe we will have a hero card that you can use that just is your card, and you start with that. Like it's your first mercenary is you're your hero. Whoa. My work computer just stopped, but my work computer screen just went bright red and then stopped. And earlier it shut itself down. It's just it's a used computer. That's what they gave me. Anyways, and then estate I don't know how the estate's cards are going to work out yet, because they're supposed to be just representing buildings. So I'm going to buy a merchant or a marketplace stall, and now every time it's going to give me gold or something. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. Spells and artifacts are very similar to weapons, items, and stuff, but they're going to you buy them with gems instead of gold, and there might be some powers. Powers. We'll see what they do. Sky's the limit. And then your hero card is going to be your player card, but we might need let me type that out here. Actually, we're going to say we'll start with this idea. Each player will start with a mercenary card representing their hero, which they can use to attack. Maybe we'll see what happens. What can the player do if they aren't getting a mercenary? How do you avoid the classic mana drought? So that answers that. But also everyone's going to start with cards that get them gold and gems. So as you play, you're going to start gaining the gems, and you'll be able to buy them. And there may be some like cheap mercenary, like a peasant, that's just always there, and it just does like one attack, no one damage, no armor, one initiative. Let me talk about that. So earlier I mentioned other players can join the attack, right? I'm attacking, and all other players in turn order gets to join the attack. Now, to join the attack, all you do is you say, I'm joining the attack. Initiative is going to be on the cards. There's also going to be some initiative tokens. You keep those secret. You don't want people to know what you have in your hand. So you can say, I'm going to join the attack. And you just say that. Now, once you say that, you can't back out. And in your hand, you might have none. You might have some tokens for initiative. Initiative determines who attacks second. So whoever leads the attack, the active player, they're going to attack first. If you join, they get a little bonus. So the bonus is literally going to be just 1 cube. So it's a victory point at the end of the game. 1 cube. I have these here too. And then the turn order, who attacks second, is going to be determined by initiative. Initiative on the cards. And if you have tokens, you can add those to the pool as well. Now, you don't know what the other players are going to have for initiative. So you're going to have to, it's a little bit of a gamble. And then there you go. You, no, the attacking player cannot choose to not go first. And the reason why is there's no world in which they would not want to go first. There will be no mechanic that gives you a benefit to not going first. That being said, there might be a sort of consolation prize. You know, if you've got 4 people attacking and there's only a little bit left, then there might be a chance that the enemy is defeated before 1 or 2 or even 3 of the other attackers get to do anything. They're still going to take revenge damage, but if they don't get the chance to attack, maybe they get an initiative token or some other sort of reward, not crazy valuable, but enough to make it feel like, okay, that wasn't a waste of my time and I just lost health, you know? And there will be in my other game, I've got a card that says take the leadership, which is very powerful. It comes out near the end of the game. And in the last 2 rounds, people, when I'm playing with other people are using those cards left and right because the points come out in those last 2 rounds. But I think I'm going to dumb that concept down. I'm going to have a card like that, but instead you're going to go first, but the leader still gets the bonus. The leader still gets any leadership bonus that's on their cards. Any effects that have to do with being the leader would still apply to the active player, even if you use this card. It just means you're going to go first in the regular attacks. The active player will go second. And so that way this card is still valuable because it gets you to go before anyone else, increases your chances of actually doing damage and putting hits on, which are of course equal points, but it doesn't make it so that the leader loses their bonus, loses their benefits, and just feels really shitty like they got attacked, you know, or something like that. So it's like a little less aggressive. So the initiative determines who goes first, and that's going to be, I think, an interesting mini game where you have to kind of consider, you know, is the other player going to have a high initiative or not? How much do I want to go before them? Is it worth spending all my tokens to ensure that I get, you know, I already have 4 here, but if I spend 4 more tokens, I'll have 8. There's no way they have 8, right? There's no way. That type of thing. So all of a sudden, you get this nice guessing game where you're trying to outthink the other players, and that could be a nice little mini game inside the game. That's what I'm thinking. So we got those. The estate cards is the one I'm not quite sure how these will play out because they're not going to be cards you can use during attacks. They're only going to be cards that you use during the go to town. And maybe these will be like treasure cards. Like in a lot of games like Clank, Clank has 2 different kind of treasure cards. They have gems, and gems they cost a lot, and all they do are worth points. There's a negative effect with the Clank mechanic where they give you 1 Clank, which is bad. Slight negative effect. They're points, they cost a lot, they're worth a lot of points, and they let you draw another card. So they don't clog your deck. In deck building, a lot of the concept is you don't want to clog your deck with low value cards because now you have a card, you play it, but you get to draw a new card, so it's like it doesn't matter. There are other point cards, tombs, secret tombs, magical tombs. Most of them in the base game, they don't do anything but give you points, but they only give you points. So you buy those at the end of the game because you're just trying to rack up points, but they clog your deck. You draw that, it's just 1 less card you have to work with. So the estate cards are going to be kind of like that. You're not going to be able to attack with them. And maybe there will be like a barracks that will give you one other something, but most of the estate cards, if not all, you won't be able to attack. But maybe they'll give you more powerful go to town options. Like maybe a lot of the cards will give you 1 gold, 1 gem, but if you buy a marketplace stall, you'll get 3 gold or 4 gold all at once. Or something like that, or maybe a combination. A magic shop will give you 1 gold and 1 gem. Ooh, and maybe they'll have more points. So maybe there's a benefit to buying because they're worth a lot of points at the end if you build your estate. But you got to be careful because too many of them means you won't be able to attack too much, and that's a problem. So this is probably a spam. Yep. Scam likely. So we'll figure that out. That'll come later. And then there's a bunch of symbols on the cards. So I think the first step, I do want to make cards. I don't like, I mean, I should definitely look up Tabletop Simulator. Have you guys seen Tabletop Simulator? It's on Steam, I think. Tabletop Simulator. It's on Steam. Let's go to their homepage, though, instead. I've seen it, and I've seen it in a lot of how-to-play videos and videos on Kickstarter and stuff because they'll make their game in here, and then they'll do the thing. I should learn how to use it. It seems a hell of a lot easier than just doing it in Unity. Hey, I've got this game on my shelf. I've got this game on my shelf. I've got this game on my shelf. What the fuck? I don't have this one. And that might be an easier way. You still need artwork and stuff, but it looks like they have a lot of random stuff you can use. So there's no videos? All right. Well, so this is what it looks like, right? You got a fake table and the pieces, and you can do stuff, and it's like it's supposed to be as a real experience. So I think I should learn how to do this. You still need to have the designs and the art because they show up here. But once it's there, I could say, hey, everybody, play the game. Tell me what you think. The initiative tokens basically create poker ante system. Players might bluff. Yep. Exactly. Like, especially, like, let's say you bought a card that has a super high initiative and everyone knows you have that card. They know you haven't played it yet, right? And so you pull out your things. You don't know how many tokens they have in their hand. You don't know if one of those cards is that card. And you're like, fuck. And then they're totally bluffing. They're like, no, I just have a one hit. I'm going to get one hit and that's it, you know? And I'm going to be super slow about it. So it could be a very interesting dynamic. We'll see how it goes. Nothing beats actually getting people to play it and seeing how they think. The other thing, a lot of deck building games, you don't recycle your deck. You don't reshuffle until your discard runs out. I think I'm going to have a mechanic where if you upgrade your town, like if you buy a town card, an estate card, you have the choice. You can put it in your discard, or you can put it in your discard and immediately shuffle your deck. So, you know, these are going to be clogging cards. So generally you don't want to shuffle your deck because they clog your deck. But maybe you've already just used a couple of really good cards and you're like, shit, I want to reuse those again. So now you opt to shuffle early in order to get a chance to use those powerful cards again. But I'm going to throw in one other mechanism because I don't want a situation where you have a really thin deck and you're constantly doing that. Instead, with like a really powerful card, instead, there's going to be some cards that go to a special, I don't know what to call it. It's a special discard pile that only gets shuffled back into your deck when you do an organic shuffle. When you empty your deck, that's the only time they go back in. So if you use like a really powerful relic, maybe it stays there and you can't reshuffle it by other mechanisms. You just have to go through your whole deck, and that's the only way to get it back in your deck. So I'm going to add that mechanism too. I didn't write down the paper. I need to write down. Yeah, so I need to get this, I guess. I think I already own it, to be honest. TBH. Let's see. We're going to look for Steam. You see all my games that I don't play. I'm pretty sure I have Tabletop Simulator. Oh, it's on Mac too? That's nice. Is it made in Unity? Does anyone know if it's made in Unity? Library. You can see what game I get addicted to. How many hours have I played Civ 6? I got addicted to this over the holiday break. It was a problem. But I'm no longer addicted to it. January 18th was the last time I played. No longer addicted. I've played 734 hours. But Civ 5, 1,500 hours. 1,500 hours. And I didn't actually play it this day. I just... anyways, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for Tabletop Simulator. Do I have it? No, I have Tabletopia, which is very similar. So I've got these on my shelf. So Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia are both things. Cooldown mechanic. Use a card and then make it stay in front of you for several turns. That's an interesting one. And each turn you put another thing on it. Actually, what's extra interesting about that, now that I think about it, it's a good idea. Scripting is fun, by the way. There could be a card that you have in front of you, and you don't, like, maybe you bought it or you got it or something, or you used it and now it has to cool down. And when you play other cards that let you get either a stat, like a might or a magic stat, or let you get a health, or let you get an initiative, or let you get gold or gems or whatever, instead of getting that gem, you put a thing here. Or instead of getting that gold, you put it here. Like, let's say it's a I don't think I'm going to call them mercenaries. I think I'm going to call them hirelings or some other name, not heroes, because that's you. So there's going to be some other name for the hirelings, but maybe some of them will be mercenaries, and you have to pay them. So you use them, but then they go here and they're out until you put 3 gold on them. Once you get the 3rd gold, you put the gold to the bank and then put that in your discard pile. And now they get shuffled back in. So that's an interesting idea too. Let me write that down. I'm gonna write down. What was the first thing? Was option to shuffle deck early, perhaps when you buy estate cards, and then some cards go into a deep discard that only gets shuffled when you do an organic shuffle after your deck runs out. And cooldown cards, perhaps make the card after use stay in front, unusable until some conditions are met. So this is kind of like a different type of deep discard. Perhaps several turns, perhaps mercenaries need 3 gold on them, which you only can do when you do town get gold actions. Perhaps an enemy like Medusa turns anyone who attacks her to stone, and you need to buy a potion and use it on the attacker before the card can be shuffled in. Lots of ideas, lots of cool things. Sell swords, but that still implies that you're paying them. The problem with mercenaries and sell swords and hirelings implies the paying. I think we want the idea, or I want the idea. I say we because the global we, the royal we. The royal we wants them to have names like Sally and, so in the blacksmith. So they're just townspeople and other like people that join you, but they're not necessarily getting paid because they're also trying to attack the monsters. The town's under attack. That's basically what's going on. So it's Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. Tabletopia is the one I have. I don't know what the difference is, but they seem to do the exact same thing. So the real question is, which one is easier to dev with? Oh, there's Scythe. All right, so I should look into these either way. But scripting is fun. Thanks for that idea. That was a neat idea. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So companions. There you go. That's what Clank uses. Companions. You know what? We're gonna find that, and change it to companions. Companions. Mercenary. Companion. And then this can stay as mercenaries. Yeah, there we go. Mercenaries. Good. There we go. Perfect. So companions. So let's think about what do we really need first? We need heroes. So I use Photoshop for this. I've heard Jamie Stegmaier, who from Stonemaier Games, I think his name's Stegmaier, but the company is Stonemaier. He makes a lot of YouTube videos. Really great. Seems like a really nice guy. Would love to meet him one day. And he uses InDesign. Can't use Confederates. That's too political right these days, you know, here in America. But companions, I actually like companions. That's what Clank uses, and I like Clank. It's a great name. And maybe an expansion will have familiars. How about that? See, because you always have to think about expansion packs these days. Because every Kickstarter, the first expansion is already available in the Kickstarter. And that's just, you know, so the expansion is going to have familiars. Okay, you heard it here, folks. The game's not even made, but the expansion is going to have familiars. The base game doesn't. And maybe the expansion allows for a 5th player to play at the same time or some crap like that. Although I think 5 players will be fine already. Anyways, I think we should start with the hero cards. And I'm not going to use InDesign. Jamie Stegmaier uses InDesign. I'm not going to use InDesign. I use Photoshop. I don't have InDesign. I don't know how to use it. And maybe it's better, but... all right, let's go to Photoshop. Now, the hero cards are going to be bigger. And I've got some stuff up in Photoshop already. So this is the card I was doing, the very basic card that I was doing yesterday. We're going to use the same design. And I'm going to save it as something else. We're going to save it as deck building game. Call this Heroes V2. Because there's going to be a lot of versions of these. And yes, we will call this Half Orc Knight. And if we refer back to our handy dandy Google Sheet where, it's a different browser, using multiple browsers. I do have already our characters, which have their different things. So, initiative is going to be tokens. You start with these tokens, and I think I might change this. I don't know how valuable initiative tokens are going to be yet. I know they're going to be valuable because having them means you can opt to go faster first. And things like the archer is going to have more. They're going to have less might and magic at the start or max might and magic, but they're going to have more opportunity for initiative. So I think I might actually put these down to 2 because I have a feeling that might and magic are more valuable than initiative. But I really don't know. So we're going to keep it at 3. But you can already get a hint of the sense that those might be more valuable because these get 12 things, where these ones only get 11 things. There's no relative weight yet. It could be that magic is more valuable than might. It could be that health is more valuable than both of those. I don't know. Refactoring is going to happen. But right now, I have a hint that those in the middle are going to... have a disadvantage, so they get a slight advantage in the starting stats. And otherwise, this is the cost. You're gonna have skill points. When you level up, you're gonna get skill points. You can use skill points to increase your maximum might, magic, and health. The initiative cost is gonna be changed. We're gonna call that tokens. So the number of initiative tokens you get when you level up, and this might also be something where these get 1 less of tokens if you're a one of those, and then these get that many. And the dwarf mage gets 3 for some reason, probably because they get less health and less magic. I don't know. Anyways, that's that. So we need a way to say what you get at the start, and then what you get per level. Skill points cost is not going to be, so this is going to be slightly different now. All right, let me change my level up stats. We're going to collapse these. We're going to turn off the initiative group. Then we will move the health group over. Just move this over, right, give or take there. And then all three of them. Actually, instead of initiative group, we will change this to tokens. We'll have another symbol. Or what we'll do is... I don't know. We need a designer to come in and actually do this right. But we're going to move this over here to be in the center. And then we'll take this background and free transform it and put that here. So that's going to be, our costs are over there. Stop snapping. If you snap, turn that off for a second. Our costs will be over here. And then this is just going to say you get three of these. So I think for that, let's turn off the box. And do a... Let's see. What if we make this... I'm trying to not take too much time, but I do like doing this part. There's a part of me that likes it. This is the hero card. Yeah, this is the one you put on your player board down here. It's going to be in front of you. So it's going to remind you of different things. So this one, I want this to be bigger than the other. So it does stand out a little bit more. And of course, it's going to be full color and all that crap later. And then 3 will make that bigger as well. Well, I think it's only 2 for the half-orc knight. So, whoops. So let's make this maybe 24. So that's a little bit bigger as well. We'll center that to that. And we'll move the whole group over. And then we will copy our skill point cost. Duplicate layer. We're going to call this level up. And move this over. And change this to be level up. We'll see if this works. Really, all I'm really thinking right now is, will my friend get confused? If when my friend plays it, will they get confused because I didn't do this in a way that made sense? And that's an important thing. You know, this is a similarity, I think, between video games and tabletop games in development. You want people to play it and see how they like it, but if they're confused, it's very unhelpful. So we're going to say on level up, make this 6, because if I just say level up, people will be like, wait, so it costs 3 to level up? No, it's on level up. You get that benefit. All right. So we'll see if that's clear. What else do we need on the hero card? That's not the hero card. I don't think I mapped out the hero card. All right. So we need this. I think I said it, though, in the doc. Didn't I say it in the doc what the hero card needs? Hero. These are player cards. They determine who the player is, some characteristics, as well as starting cards beyond the default. Doesn't need to be on the card. And a player will start with determine the max values and initiative tokens. Level bonus. That I like your thinking. It's that works too. We'll go with that. So I don't think it really needs to say anything else. Potentially there could be some flavor text here. So what we could do is just put that in. I don't know, flavor text or benefit. I don't know what the benefit will be yet. So what I'm going to do is just make a spot where I can write in with paper, basically. Why is my background on the top? Delete that. Delete this layer. All right, so this is going to be not that color. It's going to be it's not going to be that color either. It's going to be actually, yeah, let's do it black and then we'll change it with the opacity. That's a nice smart way of doing it. So it's going to be something like that. I think I already have a layer style. Nope. Blending options. I just want a very thin stroke on this. I think it has it now. No. What kind of stroke did it get? Inside one. Oh, shoot. All right. This is why don't do the opacity level. Okay. Here we go. So now we're going to do a color overlay as well. And we'll make this a light gray. And then the problem is the stroke also gets the opacity, which I didn't want. I wanted it to be a border without that, but it's okay. No big deal. This is a prototype after all. So that's fine. And this is going to be where content goes. So special abilities, other things that you need to, it's going to be right in front of you on your player board, something you shouldn't forget. You can forget, and that's the problem, so you shouldn't forget it. Like, for instance, in the game I already have, the dwarf's special ability is save 1 gold on all buying on buying estate upgrades. So maybe I'll have a similar one for the dwarf where it's like save 1 gold when you're buying an estate upgrade. So that's a nice little boost. The half orc has more might on each level up, and the knight has a leadership bonus. They get an extra damage when they're leading the attack. And each one of these is going to be double-sided. There's going to be a character that looks more male. There's going to be a character that looks more female on each side. There's going to be different ages throughout the different 16 character types, and different skin tones and ethnicities, if they're human or elf or whatever. So there's going to be lots of representation, because that is important in games, because you want your players to feel like they are belonging. Yeah, it's basically a simplified character sheet. It's just might and magic and health, right? And at the beginning, you're going to have black cubes that go here that show you, like, oh, I only have 3. And then as you're going to start with full health, but no might and no magic. And as the game progresses, you're going to get cards, play might, and then you're going to put one here. Then you're going to move your thing up. So you're going to have 1 cube of your color, a black cube to tell you where to stop, and you're going to go up and down to buying and spending that way. When you level up with the skill points here, you can spend 2 skill points to move this up 1. I think at the beginning, you're probably like, if you go from level 1 to 2, you'll get 3 skill points. If you go from level 2 to 3, you'll get 4 skill points. Some sort of mechanism like that. I don't know what the math is yet, but it's going to be bigger as you go. So, from level 3 to 4, you might move up like 3 or 4 of these. And there's going to be other cards that give you skill points. Maybe defeating monsters will give you a skill point. Some monsters will do that, stuff like that. So there will be other ways to get skill points, but the main way is leveling up, and the main way to get experience in order to level up, which I forgot to put on this sheet, by the way, is by attacking monsters. Every time you attack a monster, every time you hit a monster, you get, say, 1 experience. Yeah. All right. So that's that. I think this is enough. It's not drastically different from the version 1 that I had. So that's a half orc knight. The problem is then I need to make these, which is annoying. These were these, and it's just annoying. This is why maybe InDesign is better, because you can just automatically do them. But all right, so this is a half orc knight. I'm going to quickly make the other ones, and let me just check the numbers on this as well. Game board maths. I'm going to put this over here so I can quickly snap back and forth. So we have 4, 1, 3, 3. 4, 1, 3, 3. And I do need to make a change. 2, 3, 2, 2. And this is actually going to have to be switched, because this is merged. I can't do that. Let's unmerge these. Unmerge these, because I want initiative to be on the end of both of these, because, whoa, Whoa, because now my sum's all off. Because we need to change this one up here to be matching this one down here. They should match. So we're going to go to our starring things, move our initiative group over. We're going to move our magic or health group over. And then we will change our initiative to be similar to the level up, where I'm actually going to just duplicate this and put this with up here. Oh, interesting. I already had a thing. So we're just going to move this all the way up, and this is going to be different from the rest. The look will be different because we want people to know that it's not the same thing. Wait a minute, what did I just do? I did the wrong one. Oh, yeah, I did the wrong one. Delete this. Group and contents. I need to duplicate the level up initiative group. Okay, then move this to the starring stats. There we go. And now move this up. There we are. That's better. My apologies, everybody. I really messed that one up, didn't I? And by the way, for those of you who haven't done it yet, I need you to do me a favor. It's not about hitting like and subscribe, so don't worry. It's instead going to my friend's channel, Board Game Casual on YouTube. What did I just do? I hit something. I'm in the wrong application. Let me go back to the right application. So we go to YouTube. I'm going to bring up the thing. I'm going to see my friend tomorrow night. Go in the house. We're going to play games. I'm going to stay the night. We're going to watch Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun time. And we have a running joke about Gloomhaven that is basically hilarious because we won't play it. He won't play it with me, and I want to play it, but he won't play it with me. So I need you to go to Board Game Casual and comment. You can like and subscribe if you want, but his stuff if you want. But comment on any of these, something about Gloomhaven. Say something like, "Hey, when's the Gloomhaven review coming?" Or "Can you do Gloomhaven next?" "Hey, what do you think about Gloomhaven?" Just talk about Gloomhaven in a comment. I'm not going to tell him I told you all to do this, and I know the Bull did it, so thank you, the Bull. Hopefully others will do it, and then it'll be funny tomorrow. He'll bring it up about how all these people were talking about Gloomhaven, and all that good stuff. So, how to make cards. And I'm going to comment here. Did you make this because your cool friend Magic Pig Games has been making cards recently? I bet you did. There you go. So there you go. So if everyone can do that, that's pretty funny. Board Game Casual, thank you. I appreciate you helping me do a joke because jokes are great. Anyways, so now I need to go to the initiative group in the starring stats, the original one, turn that off, and we should be good. The number is 2, or the number is currently 3. Ah, shit. Should we make these smaller? Should we make these smaller at the start? I kind of don't know, but I'm going to say yes. Let's make these smaller at the start. I have a hunch that they should be smaller at the start. So this is going to be 2 as well. So you start as a half orc with 2, you get 2 more on level bonus, and there will be other ways to get them. All right, so that's that. Save that. We're going to copy this, or we're not going to copy it. We're just going to go to the next one, half orc archer. And we're going to save it as a half orc archer. Commit. And these numbers are going to be 3 1 3 3 2 3 3 1 3 1 3 3 1 3 3 and then 2 3 3 1. Is this part boring of a stream? It might be, but you know, what can you do? What can you do? Thank you, Corey. You are also one of my heroes. This is going to be very... I will have to report back on the results of this because it's going to be pretty funny. Oh, my friend's kid's going to science camp on Monday. Ooh, boy. He's not looking forward to it. So, half-orc archer, we save that. Next, we're going to half-orc druid. It's possibly a half-orc and a mage or a druid. 3 1 4 2. 3 1 4 2. And 2 3 2 2. 2 3 2 2. All right. File save as half-orc druid. And then half-orc mage is the next one. One day the AI will just do all of this for me. I enjoyed science camp. I met a girl at science camp, 6th grade for me. I realized that year, 3232, that I had the wrong friends. I was trying to be one of the cool kids, and you know what? Clearly, I was not one of the cool kids. But at science camp, I met kids who were in different classes than mine and were freaking awesome. This is mage, not druid. Then I went to a school dance and I kissed a girl on the cheek. Oh my goodness. We moved away a month later, which was just fine. We moved back to California, which is the best state, except for Hawaii, probably. My brother told on me. I was in the 6th grade. I kissed her on the cheek, and my dad was like, "You're too young to kiss girls." I'm like, I liked it. Then I didn't kiss another girl until sophomore year of high school. Or rather, she kissed me. Ha 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 ha, yeah. Anyways, human knight is going to be 3 2 3 4. Human knight. 3 2 3 4. Where's my text button? 3 4, and then the next one is 2 3 2 3 3 2. 2 3. Whoops, undo. 2 3 2. Save that. Oh, but I forgot to change this. Human knight. I'm making these very sparse because I'm going to print them out, but I'm also going to use less ink. I have a printer that has third-party ink, and that's great because with this, you go through a lot of it, especially if you're like me and you want to have the physical things in front of you. So that's why I'm keeping them minimal, and I think I'm going to keep changing and tweaking things, right? Next would be archer, human archer, and human archer is going to be 2 2 3 5. 2 2 3 5. That's thematic, right? That they have a lot of initiative. 3 3 2 2. 3 3 2 2. Yes. So you want these to be lower and these to be higher for the skill points one. So save as human archer. A sub trading card, a subscription. What's a sub trading card game within a survival style game where you like a game within the game? Yeah. That would be fun. I like the idea of games within games like that. It just makes me happy. Druid. Human druid is 2 2 4 4 and 3 3 2 2. 2 2 4 4 and 3 3 2 2. All right. So save as human a druid, and we're gonna save as a mage as well. Human mage, and then change this to be mage. And then what's our human mage gonna be? 2, 3, 3, 4. 2. Whoops. Wrong. 2, 3. Undo. 3, 4. And 3, 2, 3, 2. 3. Undo. 2, 3, 2. Save. Next is going to be the Dwarf Knight. By the way, these are very similar to the Legend of the Stone characters. Did you know that? My video game that I've been slowly working on. Dwarf Knight. A Dwarf Knight is going to be 3, 2, 4, 3. 3, 2, 4, 3. You know, there's a service on the Game Crafter that has a sort of a system for card design where you use a spreadsheet and then you design the cards and the variables in the spreadsheet gets put in there. It's very clunky though, and it costs $10 a month for subscription, and so I don't subscribe. 2, 3, 2, 3 because I don't use it often enough, and when I did, it was kind of clunky. And it's probably only good when you're going to print the cards with them or something like that. All right, so that's Dwarf Knight. Next, we're going to have Dwarf Archer. Save it. I've been working on the Legend of the Stones since before I took my day job, which was nearly 7 years ago. Then taking the day job slowed me down because I was a full-time asset store publisher and developer and doing whatever I wanted to do, and then I wasn't making money, so I wasn't a very good one of those, I suppose, as far as the business side of things. 2244, and so I had to get a day job and been doing that ever since, and so I have a lot less time. So how much do I have left? I don't know. I think I like what I'm doing now. Now, as I work on it, I'm building systems that I can sell on the asset store, which can help break in that side income money, which is very important, especially if I ever lost my job. I'm going to use them in the game. So as I make the game, I'm going to do this, and I'm trying to do it. So I know I'm still learning as a developer. You know, I'm way better than I was before, but I'm still learning. 3322, and so I think I have a theory that what I'm doing is really nice to keep me doing things right, learning as I go and doing things right, because I have to do it right because I'm going to sell on the asset store, right? So that's my theory, and by doing that, as I get closer to the end or to the middle where things get, there's always the point, especially for big games, where you start realizing you designed yourself into a corner and stuff like that. Hopefully there'll be less of that, so I'll be able to continue moving forward once I get all the base systems in play. Because if you really think about it, all you really need is 2 or 3 levels in order to test the entire mechanics of the game, and then it's just building the game out once you've got your mini engine within Unity, right? 2253. That's my theory. So we'll see how that plays out. And then 3322. 3322. Save as Druid. And while we're here, save as Mage. And then we'll make it a Mage. And that's a Maging. Dwarf Mage. A vertical slice. Yep, exactly that. And then I can sell that whole thing on the asset store for like $4,000. I actually have the idea in mind of once I get the game, like the whole thing, making it a package on the store and saying, hey, if you buy this, you have to use this exact version of Unity because I'm not going to support new versions. This is the engine. It works in this version, and I will do bug fixes in that version, but I'm not supporting new versions, and sell it for like $4,000. A college is not a race. 2343. That's what I used to tell myself. 2343. And then 3. Oh, I'm the wrong one. 2253. 2253. And then 3322. 3322. Save as the mage. Next one. Only 4 more, then we'll move on to the next card. I'm not going to do the print sheets and laying them out for this. That's just way too boring. And I don't like doing that, so I'm going to put it off to a later date. This is going to be elf knight. Elves can be knights too. 2, 3, 3, 2. 2, 3, 3, 2. Elf knight. Elf knight. And then 2, 2, 3, 2. 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Save. And do all these have... They do not. These all have very similar but not quite the same. Okay, elf archer. Save as elf legless. Legless the elf. 1, 3, 3, 3. 1. Whoops. 3, 3, 3. And 3, 2, 3, 1. 3, 2, 3, 1. Interesting. They're going to have less of an initiative even though they're an archer. Well, we could refactor later if that's an issue. Save that, so then save as a elf druid. And then 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 3, 4, 2. And then 3, 2, 2, 2. Eyes, the white screen. The room's very dark right now. I've got the lights all on dim, and these lights that shine on me are on dim. So that white screen is, what did I say? I forgot what I was talking about. 3, 2, 2, 2. Oh, do you know I got glasses and I freaking hate them? I don't know how you people with glasses do it. It's terrible. They look fine. I probably look very smart and sexy and all that shit. But I can't see. I can see from a tiny sliver in the middle. And if I'm looking at the right distance in the middle, everything in the top and bottom is blurry. And everything on the left and right is blurry. So if like I was reading a book, so now I've got the reading distance on the bottom. So if I look through the bottom, I can read a book right here. It's much more clear. Doesn't strain my eyes as much. But looking at the middle of the page, the two sides are blurry. So I can't move my eyes. I have to move my whole head to read. Which right now I look at the book and I just move my eyes back and forth. So I think I'm going to return them. Okay, Elf Mage has 1, 4, 3, 2. Maybe I'll get a different kind. I don't know. They were pushing me really hard on the progressives, and I think they just make more money with those. 3, 2, 3, 1. And I think maybe I just don't need progressives. Maybe I just need other like reading glasses that I can buy at the store, and then long distance glasses for when I'm really out and I really want to be able to see down the Costco aisle or something. I can see just fine. I don't really need glasses, but I can definitely tell that things are more blurry than they used to be when I'm looking off in the distance. And when I wear them, this stuff in the distance, I went to Barnes & Noble after I got them. I was like, oh, I can read shit really far away now. So that was nice. But anyways, Elf Mage. So we got those. What's the next card type that we want to do? So let's talk then about companions. First, let's make a companion card. I've got to bring up one of my old things here. So this is my old board game. You can see all the different things I've done. Version 4, different versions, different unorganizedness. That is a different version where I tried to use dots instead of numbers. Nope. At first I was using my own art from the character packages. The dragon has this concept art, human drawn. But then I decided just to take stuff from the internet because I wanted something even prettier. This was the original character things. Auto characters. I need the right size. No, the enemies are big as well. Magic. Nope, those are old magic that were big. No, not weapons. Treasures. Ah. Yes. These are the right ones. Advanced treasure. 2 might. There we go. Okay. I'll take this one. So this is the right size for a kind of standard playing card. This size. And so I'm just going to steal this size, essentially. I don't need the rest. I'm just going to steal the size, and then we're going to do a new save. Save as. And we're going to call this Companions. And we're going to save it. Companions V1. Okay, so what do Companions have on it? First of all, they have none of this. Delete all that. Delete everything. Can't delete the background. Okay, delete everything else. Alright, so I did kind of draw these out last night when I was having a nice cocktail, an old-fashioned from a pre-made old-fashioned bottle. And this is kind of what I think. So when you got a bunch of cards in your hand, when you have them in your hand, the stuff at the bottom you don't care about. So that's where the cost is going to go. You don't care about that anymore. You already have it. The victory points is going to go there. You don't care about that. That's end of the game stuff. The details are going to be in the middle, so you can, when you're looking at each one. But when you're glancing on them, you want to be like, okay, damage, count those up. Quickly see that. When you're looking at initiatives, you can go the other way and just be like initiative, or you can go like this and just quickly add them up. So you put the stuff at the top, basically. Thank you, the bull, or you're welcome, the bull. I'm gonna have a cocktail tonight. I think my friend often. Oh, no thanks. Your cooler works just big enough. I'm borrowing her cooler. I'm making chicken wings at my friend's house, so I have all these frozen chicken wings from Costco. I'm gonna bring my air fryer. Turns out they're really good in the air fryer for Super Bowl. But I'm bringing the air fryer and the chicken wings. I needed a cooler. Costco only had these giant $150 coolers that will last through the apocalypse. I don't need that. And so I borrowed hers, and it's perfectly fine. But she's going to Target, so wanted me to check out coolers, and I say no, thank you. Sometimes she invites me over to watch TV or whatever on Friday nights, and her kids are always like, "Why is Andrew here?" One of her kids is like that. The other one likes me a lot. But maybe she will, maybe she won't. She's just a friend. Don't get excited, all you fools. All right, and then I'll have a cocktail there. But if not, I'll have a cocktail here. That was the whole point of that story. So we want to mimic this. We're gonna put all the cards are gonna have these spots for damage and stuff on the top. Ooh la la. So we're gonna go and put this on, say, I don't know, 40 pixels border on all of these, just to make sure we don't go too far to the edge. It's not that drastically important at this stage because the cards will definitely be redone, but we're gonna do it anyways to about 40. Doesn't have to be super accurate. Just want to get some guardrails here in place, and then we will put up here 3 spots. So I'm going to create a new group, call this damage, and in damage, now I am going to make these a little bit more colorful because, and let me show you, can I show you, why I want to make it more colorful? Because there's 2 different types of damage. There is physical damage, there is magical damage. Ooh, okay. And the magical damage, there may be, and the physical damage, there might be a magical element type. Like, so you might have a weapon that does a fire weapon. So it does physical damage, but it's a fire weapon. If something's strong against fire, then it's going to act different. So in this game, Thunderstone Quest, interesting game, they do their damage in the top left as well. And this one is a magic damage. So you get 1 damage with the magic symbol. So I need to separate out magic and non-magic. That was a lot of work just to show you that, by the way, doing all this. I want to separate those out too. So I am going to go quickly to our good friend Midjourney and use my $10 a month subscription. I actually think I may have already had some of these. Let's see. Where's our Discord? Discord, my own personal mid-journey. And I think, yeah, I already did some, but I wasn't completely happy with them. But it's hard to get attacks and stuff. So I'm just going to choose one, I guess, randomly that looks not too... let's just make another one real quick. We're going to say, imagine attack skill icon, and then I'm going to choose one of these for the magic. Maybe this one looks neat. So let's choose that. And while that's building out that, we will take this and bring it into the old shop. And we will do the object select tool, copy it, new, turn this off, paste, make it bigger, just slightly bigger, and turn that off, I said. Okay, so now we have this symbol. We're going to save this as not on the cloud. I hate when it defaults to that. Deck building game, source, magic damage, background, so I don't lose it, because otherwise I will. And go to our companions, new group, no new group button, new group down here. We're gonna call this magic damage. And we'll paste in our magic damage there. How big should this be? If this is a card size, that's bigger than an actual card. So let's zoom out to make this the same size. That's probably too small now. Yeah, zoom in a little bit. So that is slightly bigger than an actual card. So that should give us a sense of the scale of things. And in fact... yeah, so that's probably good there. As a reference, I am going to make 2 more of these just to temporarily put them here as references for the other 2 icons that will be up there. And that seems about right. So I'm going to move these out for now. So magic damage, and then we'll have another one for other damage, and then we need a number. We're going to just use the number 1. I'm going to change the font to a more human readable font. What was I using? Open recent. This was a Various Serif Libre Bold. Okay, we'll use the same font. We don't want to... This is another thing I learned. It seems common. You probably are like, of course, duh. But I learned that you need a good font. Otherwise, people won't know what they're reading. It's harder to read. You don't want their brain to have to think about the font, what they're reading. You want it to be very obvious. So big, bold, bright numbers. And then you take that number, you do the blending options, you put a stroke on it. In this case, we're going to put the stroke on the outside, which is usually where it goes. Not on the inside, outside. And then you can even go and put a drop shadow on it. You can put a outer glow on it. All things to make it pop. See, so now it's much more poppy that it's a 1. You realize this is 1. That's 1. You could even go so further, like Thunderstone Quest, if you remember that card that I showed just a second ago, says +1. You could even do that. For this one, maybe I'd make that a little smaller. And I suppose there could be -1s, so that could be interesting. So let's go with the plus for now. Can I make this... How do you make it vertically aligned in the middle? Is that possible? No. Doesn't look like it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll make this slightly bigger. 30. Or maybe I just don't need the one. We'll do a minus if we have minuses. All right, so this is going to be the damage amount. So we'll call this... Nope. Call this damage amount. The problem is you make these nice, pretty things, and you're like, ooh, it's going to look so good. Then you print it out on your home printer, and it kind of sucks, right? Because home printers are sucky still. It's 2024, and home printers are still sucky. All right, so that's that. Let's go back to Midjourney. See what we got for attack ones. All right. Whoa, those are different. We want it to be round. So let's see if we say round. Imagine round that. Those are a little too bold, I think. Make another one while we're at it, though. And I would like a little less of the magic stuff because this isn't going to be a thing. But while we're at it, what we can also do is a fire magic skill icon. And so this is going to be like kind of options to put on the side for when they're... well, that's round. It got that right. But I think we can make our own. They're very extravagant. We can probably use that one. That's cool, but it looks too magical to me. That looks like a neat magic symbol. I like that. I like that symbol a lot. I'm going to save it just to have it. Well, we gotta move on. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. So, I'm gonna go with this one. We're just gonna go with that. And we'll bring it into Photoshop. We'll make it circular. And where's our magic damage background? We're gonna save this as physical damage background. And we will paste it. We will now, let's move the transparency down a little bit. Free transform it to be more or less the right thing. All right, we will do that. Then we will have to, this part can always be a little tricky. So we're going to put this on top. And then we're going to load the selection. Actually, first, just bring this down a bit. Good enough. Actually, let's bring it down a little bit more. Actually, let me see something. Let's try something else. Select color range. Select all the blues. Less fuzziness. How do we select only the blues in here? And then invert that. Unselect. That's not going to work. This part always kind of annoys me. Never quite sure how to do this the way I want to do it. All right, so we're just gonna go back here. It's gonna be redone in the end, so let's just kind of move along, right? All right, so we're gonna load the selection, and then we're going to subtract this middle section here, and then we're going to invert that and delete. And then we're going to select this selection here again. We'll make this a little bit bigger. and then invert that and delete the rest from the sword. So now we have that, and then we might be able to change this a little bit. Select this pink color range, maybe the purple, and then let's change the hue to something else. Maybe just a blue. That's good enough for movies. It looks horrible. We'll keep it as pink. All right. And look, there's a little bit down there that's missing. So we're going to just take, this is a silly trick, but it works really well. Take this, since it's just a flat thing, paste it, and then select it, do a free transform, just pull that down. Boom, done. You could do the other fills and all that too, if you wanted to. All right, now we got that symbol. So let's go back to our companions. And we're going to call this physical damage. And we'll free transform this down. One easy way, since we got the grid, well, let's make it a little smaller first, is to align it with the grid and then bring this down until it's the right size. It doesn't have to be too perfect, but perfect enough. All right. Now that's way too dark, but that's okay. Oh. Physical damage is 2. It's not in the right spot. All right. There we go. Now it's blocked. Okay. So physical damage, magic damage, a number. And then what's in the middle? Middle is defense. Back to Midjourney, we need a shield icon. Interesting. I didn't know you could paste in like that. Imagine a shield icon. V6.0. I think 5.0 is still better, but I like this right here. We're going to save that. And for fire, I like this one right there. So we're going to save that because there's going to have to be an option for elements. So I'm just going to make 2 of them for now. That's neat. And copy this. Do the same thing as before. Save it as not there. Ice element. Ice damage. Okay, and then for these, we're going to add these. It's not going to be turned on for most of them, but somewhere we need to add this. I don't know exactly where the best is, but elemental icons. We're going to make this ice and bring it down. I think... like you could put it behind. Whoops. You could put it behind the card like that, but I don't really like that. You could put it to the side of the card, but now you risk doing something else. So I think we're going to put it down here. Maybe. I don't know. I think what we need is just a different icon entirely. So we'll come back to that. I'm not going to have any of those today. How about that? How about that? Push it off to another day. But we have the 2 things. I'm going to bring in the fire one too, just so I don't lose it. Because I do like this one. It's really neat. It's compelling. It's fine. It's AI. Save as. Not on the cloud. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but not all the time. Fire damage. All right. Close, close, close. And a future problem. It's definitely a future problem, Andrew. So I don't like any of these shields. This one was probably fine though, so we can do that. We can do variations of this one too. They've got this very strong option. And what do we get? What do we get? What do we get? It's like rolling the dice. That's weird. There's a lot of banding in this one. Like, it produced banding. Okay, they're too ornate. Does that make sense? How about this? Imagine shield skill icon. Actually, the shape is important. So you know what? Let's just go with it. We'll go with this one. Yeah. The shape is important. If it's not a circle, then it shows that it's different, right? So that's actually a good thing. That's another thing I've learned is that the different shapes is good because it gets people's brains to realize there's something different and also to notice it without really looking at it as much. If that makes sense. Armor icon. We're gonna open this, move it here, make it smaller, attach it to the top here, hold down shift while we do that. We can have it come down a little bit more than the other. There you go. And then we'll have it go up a little bit more as well. Because we're going to put this here, new group. We're going to call this armor. Call this background. And then, I mean, maybe the expansion will have magical attacks on you too. But not this one. For now, we're going to keep it here. That was me talking to myself, by the way. Because none of you brought up that idea of magic damage that we have to defend against. So we're going to say armor amount and bring that up. Bring it over. Okay. And now that we see that there, we can bring this down. All right. And then on the right is our initiative. This one's tough. What does an initiative look like? Imagine. So we're going to say initiative skill icon. We'll do V 6.0. And we're going to do a couple of these. We're going to say speed skill icon, fast skill icon, sprint skill icon. Boots could be it. There's no movement on a board, so boots might make sense. I bet we're going to get that with the speed and the fast maybe. One of these might work too, just as a stand-in for now. Like this could be initiative, I suppose. I did like that. It's got, I mean, there's really ultimately has to be an icon for it as well, like a black and white icon. Similar to these. Actually, that's the symbol. Whoops, shit. Apologies. It's got to be this. It's got to be lightning bolt because I remember using that. That was like the what I chose last night. Why is it choosing rocket ships? Okay, let's choose lightning bolt. And we'll do lightning bolt. Just icon. As long as it's a lightning bolt, that would be perfectly fine. That's nice. A light bulb. I actually do like this light bulb. That's interesting. But the death is really interesting too. I might save that. There you go. There's some sprinting. Reared humans. Too many arms. Okay, yeah, one of these will work for sure. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this one. Maybe that one. Maybe it'll be a square purple one. Maybe this one. That actually looks really similar. This looks really similar. I'm gonna do a square one. I like all of these. These are cool. Probably because there's a lot of source material out there on the internet that they stole from. Not that we would ever say that out loud. AI companies. So now we have a square one. We will select that object, copy new. Yes, paste. Turn off the background. Save as. Not there. On initiative. Initiative background. Okay. Select all of it. Close, close, paste, move up, free transform, put it up there, put it in the right spot. And now we have our 3 things. It will definitely not be like this in the end, but this is just for prototyping. Initiative, and we will have our background, and we will copy a duplicate initiative amount, put that there, move it over. There you go. Save there. So now we got those 3. Hourglass potentially. That is a cool icon, but it might imply something to do with time, like delay. The idea earlier of a long cooldown period, maybe something like that. But all right. So that is good. And now when we make these cards, we can quickly just turn these on and off, and then change the numbers depending on which cards have what. If it doesn't have something, it'll just be turned off. All right, so looking back on the card, this is the companions. So we need a picture, companion name, details like the race and other things, victory points, and cost. So let's do the gold coin. This is an interesting one. I've struggled to get a good gold coin from Midjourney. Gold coin icon. V 6.0. Gold coin. V 6.0. Solid white background. See if we can get those. And then victory points. What would victory points background be? What would points? Would that be my use for that thing I really liked? I don't have a victory points icon as of yet. This one. So Midjourney, the base is $10 a month. Yeah, I think the minimum one. I had the expensive $60 month one when I was making a lot of AI art and selling on the asset store, which nobody buys anymore. And which I, by the way, predicted. I predicted there would not be long before people didn't buy it because it would get better than easier not to. This symbol is neat. It does look magical though. Flag. Oh, that could be flag, or yeah. Darn it! I need to make a stylized gold coin. Imagine stylized ancient gold coin icon. Victory points icon. How about that? The 6.0. We'll say stylized victory points icon V6.0. I had the expensive one, and then I realized one month last summer, I think it was June or May or something, I was like, I didn't use it. I barely used it this month, so I canceled it. Canceled it. But I've been using it I had been using it just a little bit for the thumbnails for the YouTube streams, and suddenly I realized, oh shit, I can't actually make it without that. So I had to quickly join the $10 a month plan, which is perfectly fine. I get my money's worth, I think. Oh, a trophy cup. That makes sense. The star. That makes sense. All right. So one of these should work. Which one do we like? I think the bottom right is my favorite of those ones, and none of those. So we're going to go with the bottom right. And for victory points, it's a little busy. Overly descriptive. You know, honestly, I see people do overly descriptive prompts. Let's try one. We're going to imagine a stylized, a gold coin icon. Solid black background. Not busy. You say not busy, it's not going to work. No face, solid face, or flat face, we'll call it flat face, gold color, minimal shadows, evoking a fantasy RPG. Let's see what happens. I think ChatGPT you can get a little bit more focused. With the Midjourney, I've seen prompts that are like a mile long, and you delete half of the words, and it still does the same thing. So now, unfortunately, I put too many words. I put face, no face, flat face, and it gave me a face. So, you know, I think a lot of, and if you go to the Midjourney website and you look at some of the cool images, then you look at the prompt, you're like, wait, that makes no sense. It's a cool image. It's really compelling, but it doesn't match the prompt at all. So yeah, I don't think more is better. I think the trick is to find something very specific. I'm going to make 2 more of these just to see, and then go from there. So this will work for these purposes here, though. Right. And you just want to be, I mean, we're prototyping here, right? I'm not turning this in for homework, right? And even if I was, that's exactly what I would do. Gold coin icon, coin icon. Oops, close. And then we will put this, I'm going to make this the same size as the others. But we're going to put it down here on the right. And we're going to put a number on it. We're going to make a group. Card cost. Background. I use ChatGPT all the damn time now. It's almost every day I will use some form of written AI. Almost every day. The other day I didn't use my computer at all. I was doing physical tabletop games, so I didn't. But really, most days I will. Cost amount. Put this up here. Move it down. Down. We'll call it 1. Okay. And then we will duplicate this. Actually, we won't duplicate it. Now we need to go back here, look for our victory points. Do any of these look even better for victory points? It's a little busy. How about this? We'll go with simple victory points icon, the 6.0. Oftentimes, I think 5.0 is better. This one could work. Yeah. I tried a coin purse yesterday, actually. I was doing a very similar thing. I tried a coin purse yesterday, and it did not come out well at all. I think it's just what is it? It's too kind of chaotic. I don't know if that's the right word. All right. Don't forget, by the way, if you're just coming to the stream or been here a little bit, don't forget to like and subscribe and give a thumbs up. Always appreciate it. I think I might just go with this crazy goblet of fire. I don't know. Wings make sense. Something with wings. You can. It doesn't always work well. I did that way up here, actually. I did it right here. So you can put in... oh, well. It's downloaded. But you can put in two things. It didn't do it really well. It was a combination of this icon and this. And as you can see, it kind of just made another star that was more flat. So, wasn't quite what I was looking for. So, there's that. All right, I gotta go with one of these. I'm gonna go with... I'll go with this one for now. It's way too busy for victory points. It's way too many colors. It's too busy, but the shape, it's got a shape with the wings that will work for just separating it out. And I think it is, if you had to say which one of these is the victory points, I think people would know. So we'll just go with it. So we'll save as on your computer. Victory points background, and we will paste it. Free transform, similar to the others. We'll just put it up and make it about the same size. Maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger so it evokes a little bit more of a heft, or maybe not because of the shape. I don't know. Is that too small now? No, that's fine. Maybe it's too small. It might be too small. That's fine. We'll fix it if it is. Victory points. Not everything's gonna have victory points, by the way. Not every card. The main victory points are gonna come from fighting. I don't want people thinking collecting cards is the way to win. It's not. It's the way to get a benefit, but it's not the way to win. VP amount. And put that up here. And move it over. And let's actually fully align this with the top one as well. I hate when you let go of the mouse and it is suddenly not aligned. Like that. Like the act of letting go of the mouse makes it move. Well, it doesn't have to be perfect right now. All right, so those are our icons. Next, we need a picture and name and all that. So let's quickly make a picture. We're going to get a, imagine we're going to concept art, a villager, butcher holding a butcher knife. We're going to say tan skin, 40 years old. Ready to fight. And for aspect ratio, we're going to go with 3:2. Wait, 3 by... No, probably 3.5 by 2, so 7:5. Yeah. How's this video where you just see my hands? Right? My hands are okay. My nails are ugly, but, you know, I didn't put anything on them. What? Oh... I have a space there. I hate it when I get a warning that I've put like invalid content, like naughty content or something, words you can't say. Because every once in a while they'll add words that you could say and then something you can't say because I guess you could use it to get like nudity or something, and then it just feels bad. Like I'm just trying to make a picture. Wait. Oh, I know why. I did this completely wrong. Imagine it's supposed to be AR 7:5. There you go. Mid-journey reference material to work off. What do you mean mid-journey reference material to work off? Just go to midjourney.com. There's tons of reference material. Whoops, this was supposed to be 5:7. Oh, I should have said fantasy RPG. All right, let's do it again. Imagine. Fantasy. RPG concept art. Ah, I did it again. Wrong aspect ratio. Fantasy RPG concept art. AR 5x7. There we go. These will work. This type of thing will work. I kind of... The problem is it's going to use a lot of ink, and it's not going to look that good once I print it out. So I might... Let me try something slightly different. Light background. Imagine character only. Actually, that's an... Yeah, let's try this. Character portrait versus concept art gives a completely different thing. Character portrait. Light background. We'll still say light background. I think that will help. Butcher cleaver, huh? It's fine. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think a butcher cleaver, just a cleaver would be better. So the problem is getting consistent things. So right now I don't really care, but one of the big tricks, and I think one of the things that makes buying a package of pre-made AI art better than making it yourself is the consistency. Like if I want this background to be consistent, that's going to be very hard to get. But if I can figure out a prompt that gives me a consistent background like that, then it's very valuable. All right, these are fine. Which one's this? Character portrait. They're kind of fine. What does this say? Only you can see this. Why does it say edited? Did I not have light background? I need light background. Because I don't want a dark background. It's not going to look that good in the card, and when I print it, and it's going to be more ink. Light tone background. I mean, you can do another thing, like standing in an open field. Standing in an open field. Standing in a open courtyard type thing. Sometimes those will give lighter backgrounds. I just know I'm gonna print it out, and it's not gonna look that great. But one of these might. Come on, one of these. You could also do something completely different. You could do concept art, tan skin, 4 years old, ready to fight. Pencil sketch with watercolor. That usually works. Maybe I'll do something like that. Because yeah, I am printing it out, and maybe that's going to be a better outcome. Because even these are going to be... I like this little outline though. That's neat. Even these are going to be not quite right. Do black and white as well. Black and white pencil sketch. So these might work. I need to choose one. What's interesting is those aren't 5x7. This is not 5x7. Oh, because I didn't put a space in there. That's why. All right, this could work. This guy's cool looking, right? He look more like a pirate. I think I'm gonna use that. That's neat. Okay, so let's just go with this. With my other AI art, I will upscale it with this gigapixel AI. I'll take a fair amount of time to process them in Lightroom and upscale them and do other stuff. But for this, we will not. So we are going to put this here. We're going to say characters. We're going to say, actually, this is going to be the butcher. Put him there. We'll put that there, so it's kind of like that. And then we need a name, race, all that stuff. So we will put here a new thing, and we're going to make this a... Let's see, actually, let's put it here. And we will put this down here. And we will fill it. I can't see my fill icon. There it is. Fill it with some color. What are we going to fill it with? Okay, for this one, we will fill it with black. Put this on top. Bring our opacity down. And then I'm going to copy this, paste it, put that here. Then I'm going to do a blending options. I wonder, I wish you could do a transparent middle and still do the blending options. But I don't think you can. Make this a little less there, but keep it as something. And then we'll new select, load selection, delete. That saves the border. And now we have a border with our transparent bit. All right. And that's a shame, isn't it? Isn't it? How did that happen? Free transform. All right. A little bit more? No, that's fine. All right. All right, so that's our background for copy. Now we will do some copy. We're going to put here butcher. Oh, we need the background there. We need the copy up here. So I'm always hesitant of how much I want to put these elements as part of the layer that I can just turn on and off and duplicate, and how much I don't. In this case, I guess I can just do this. I'm going to make this a text area. I'll put these up there, move that under the butcher, and then put the title. We'll call this name or companion name. And we will make this a little less big. Butcher. And blending options. Ah, you grabbed a month of Midjourney. Hopefully it'll be well worth the time or the expense. I like it a lot. I like it better. I know there's Hugging Face and all these other things. They don't. But I think it's pretty easy to use. I think the results are pretty good, and so I'm down with it. I'm all about paying for convenience rather than trying to, get all the nitty gritty myself, if that makes sense. So we're gonna stroke this and drop shadow it, maybe. Should we drop shadow it? I don't know. Maybe just the stroke is fine. What if we do the outer glow? We can do an outer glow too, maybe. Is that how you spell butcher? It looks wrong all of a sudden. But we can change the font now. So the numbers are one thing, but for other font, we can do something more interesting. This is my go-to, but maybe I use it too often. And if I do that, I'll probably go butcher. Nah. Okay. Okay, we'll just do that. Butcher, duplicate it. And we can call this character details. And we will make this smaller. And we're going to call it, what are we going to say? We're going to say human villager. I don't know why it's human villager. I don't know what that means. I just figure maybe there's going to be something about villagers. If you have a villager, then get this. Like maybe a pitchfork will give you +1 if it's an extra +1 if it's a villager. It can generate textures for it can do tileable textures, but it's not going to get you a normal map, a metal map, etc. That's where Unity Muse actually comes into play. I saw somebody using it earlier. It was Nature Manufacturer after the stream. He was showing us it working on his new package, and that it works perfectly fine. His shader work makes it look a lot better than the default shader that it comes with, but the output includes a normal map. It includes a metal and some reflectiveness, so you get that from it. It's not the best yet. It doesn't pack the textures, which is annoying, but it works pretty well. So for textures on game stuff, I would go with Muse right now, or some other. I don't know if there's another system, but some other system maybe. So human villager, and I mean there's what else can we say about human villager? If butcher hits an animal, +1 gold, and we need a gold symbol, so we'll cover that with a gold symbol, I guess. And now we suddenly see that we have an issue with the copy being covered. And again, if I, whoops, wrong button. If I put this up for legibility and stuff, that's already fairly small. Actually, let's take out Clink. Let's get some reference material here. And we can actually use Midjourney for this too, and maybe we should. I'm going to quickly look at one of these cards. So this card, okay, so they put the things down here at the very bottom, much smaller, and they're number of symbols rather than a number of the. So for the attack, it's a number of symbols rather than. Oh, that's a different type of card though. Let me see. Okay. Well, that's also a different type of card. What the heck? Let me find one that has actual text on it. That's a companion, because they have companions in this. All right. So the way they do it is here. They put the name up at the top, which is an interesting idea. And then they have this whole area that's barely covered. They have a slight icon on the corner, but that's it. And they do use fairly small print. So I can go smaller on the font. But they have a whole area. The background image is just right here, right? Instead of the whole thing. So that is one option. I think what I will do is not worry about it too much. Put this back. I want to, now that I said it, I realize I should have from the beginning, just ask Midjourney design a card and see what comes up, right? So let's do that, and then I'm gonna come back and fix this. I don't know. I probably won't use that, but a companion card for a deck building game. Layout with cost, attack, damage, and point icons, a portrait, and flavor text. Let's see what comes up with. Oh, I didn't do the size. We should do the size, especially for something like this. So, aspect ratio is 5:7. That's okay. So I think what we'll do here, we'll keep the text a little smaller. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to change things a little bit. The text area, we're going to make this white. Where's my fill button? Make it a little bit more like that. And then we don't need as much fluff around the stuff. We just have to do black text with no stroke and no outer glow. Actually, we could do an outer glow with a white stroke, maybe. How does that look? Suddenly it looks kind of bland to me. Okay, make that bold. Copy the paste layer style. And for these, whoops. For these, let's make it light. See what the light looks like. Human villager. Okay. And human villager. Make them like that, maybe. And then paste layer style here. Where's the paste? I can never find it in the list. So we're going to move the text area. Free transform that. Just, whoops, wrong button. Didn't hold. I was holding shift down. We're going to move this. There and there and delete that layer. All right, and then flavor. So this is actually effect. Oh shit! Do we need? No, these are the things you fight with. They don't have a town effect. These are only fighters. You've got your companions to fight. Okay. If butcher hits an animal, +1 gold because he's gonna butcher him. And then down here we can have flavor text. Just, I don't know if I'm going to use flavor text, but we're going to try it. Flavor text. And this is going to be much smaller. And we're going to make it light italic. Oops. And some say butcher was raised by wolves, and some say no one knows what happened to his parents. Spooky. He murdered them. All right. We need a center guide here, so I'm going to select the background. Put the center guide there because none of this seems to be centered. Flavor text. There it is. Effect text. There it is. Oops, almost. No, come on. Stop doing that. Why does it do that? It aligns it and then you let go and it moves it. So annoying. Okay. Butcher, human, villager. If butcher hits an animal, do that. There's some flavor text. All right. Are we happy with that? The bottom icons probably could be shrunk, but I'm worried about readability. But it is, in the end, just a prototype, and it will definitely change. Because also, if I were making these cards actually printed, then I could use more of the space. I'd know exactly how much space I had. I would know what players are looking for when they're, you know, looking at the table and looking over and be like, how much does that cost? And knowing to see the thing. So I think this is fine for now. Because in the end, we are just doing a prototype. So this is our butcher. You know, though, to that point a little bit, the bull, maybe they should just be kind of corners, because these are things in the game that you get. These are not. These are things you pay. So that might signal that these are like, or it's the victory point's slightly different. That might signal that. So let me try that real quick, because that's an interesting idea. Oh, look, and it gave us our cards. These are not what we're looking for, but it's neat that it can give you some design ideas, right? Like this is a card shape. This is a portrait. It's got little symbols. So it's definitely neat that you can get some ideas out of it. This shape. Yeah. So that's fun. So let's do a, not Jiffy, Imagine, gold, stylized, gold background. And then Jiffy, Imagine, stylized, green background. Just see what those pop up with. And then, yeah, maybe we'll put them down in the corners. I'm going to duplicate both of these. I don't want to lose my work, right? And we're going to call this one cost corner. And call this one cost corner. Yeah, these should be fine. I'm just looking for... This one's actually not fine. I'm just looking for kind of just vague patterns. It doesn't really matter that much. I think I will modify it a little bit, but we'll go with this one. We'll bring this up into the photo shop. And we will go here, victory points corner. So we can put it down here. And then, because I can't draw, I'm just going to do a straight line like this. Delete that. We'll do a blending options. Do a stroke. Nope. Do a outer glow. Bring that up so it's more. I don't know if that's cool or not. Some people like that. Some people don't. We'll move this victory point amount down here. We are cutting these ourselves for this prototype, so there's no risk of bleed. I kind of feel like it should be a different shape now. In fact, how about, what if I just drew the shape? And just kind of did that. Is that cool? That might be fine. And we'll do the same for the gold. Do we have a gold pattern that works here? This will work. I don't know how we got a person there, but whatever. This will work. Do a similar thing for the gold corner. I like this, the bull. Good idea. So I didn't shrink. You said shrink. I didn't actually shrink them, but that's okay. Very similar. Very similar. Copy layer style. Paste layer style. And then bring the cost amount down to be matched with this one. And while I'm here, because later there might be things that cost double 2 digits, I should do this and make sure this one is on the edge, the right justified, and this one is left justified appropriately. Otherwise, all hell will break loose. All right, and then for this pattern, I will draw it again. We turn off the snapping. Oh, I probably have a snapping issue there too. Snap. Whoops. Whoops. I don't like that. I did it wrong. I don't like that either. I don't like that either. I don't like that either. What am I doing? How about this? First of all, I gotta fix this because this snapped. So let's see. Deselect. The card may, but when I print them out, they're just going to be all next to each other. There's no risk of bleed overlay, and these will all be redone if I were to actually print them. You know. Let's see. So I'm going to bring this over here. Then I'm going to load the selection. Oh, wait. Same issue down here. Okay. Select. Load the selection. And this one, delete. Or invert the selection, delete, and then free transform, flip, bring it over. Where'd it go? Why is it invisible? What did I do? Free transform. I'm not trying to free transform it. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Free transform. There we go. That's all I was trying to do. All right, and then I think I do want a stroke on this Gotta fix that over there. It's gonna be black. And it's gonna be very thin. And it's gonna be outside. Okay. Copy. And the green one, paste layer style. Where'd it go? It's down here now. It didn't go there. This is supposed to go here. Paste layer style. All right, and then, yes, I was going to select all of this on the gold one, delete whatever's down there. I want it gone. I don't think it actually deleted, but that's okay. We can go like this. Canvas size, height, it's going to be 1100. And then oops. So on the gold and the green, delete the extra stuff. And then canvas size back to 1050. That'll do. All right, that's actually better. I'm not a huge fan of my drawing, but you know what? That's okay. I think it gets the point across for now. In the realm of prototypes, it will work, and then this has to all go on the text area. Text area can come down a little bit. It could actually come down like this. Kind of embed it a little bit. All right, and then do these need a stroke or anything on the damage and armor up there? Let's try the armor. Blending options. Stroke. It might help bring it out just a little bit. Drop shadow could be interesting. Make the distance not very much. Make it like that. And then you also have the outer glow option. I think the outer glow is too much. Drop shadows too much. Drop shadows too much. I think the simple stroke might be okay. What if it was white? What if it was white and we had drop shadow like that? Maybe like that. Copy that. Again, not a big deal. It's just a prototype. So damage and initiative, background. And we're going to have to do all of these. Paste layer style. All right. All right, I think we are good. Do we have everything we need on the character on a companion card? The other cards are going to look very similar, but they're going to have a slightly different middle. Or somehow we have to separate out because all the weapon cards and other cards, or a lot of cards might have town effects and attack effects, but I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But I think I like this card. I think it's pretty neat. And here's the deal. It's been almost 3 hours. It's time for me to take a break. See, she wants tortellini. Sure. I'll try your probably you're probably good enough sauce. Finishing up a stream. Will come over shortly. Yeah, I actually kind of like this card. Now, the Butcher's not going to have initiative or... I don't know. Should everything have a base 1 initiative? I don't think so. I think for like the butchers, it needs to have an attack. So it's gonna have, maybe it'll have zero, maybe some will have 0 attacks, but let's just play this out a little bit. Oh, here's the problem. Here's the problem. The numbers are gonna be, I want the ability to just turn on and off a thing, but the numbers have to be on top. Okay, how can I layer this out? I'm going to say, we're going to delete those. I'm happy with what we got. So let us do this. We're going to call this values. And down here, we'll call this characters. And in the middle, we will do icons, etc. And so I'm going to put all of the values. Damage amount will go in values. Armor amount goes in values. Initiative amount goes in values. Card cost amount and victory points amount all goes to the values. All of these now go to icons, etc. Butcher goes under character. Background can stay the way it is, I guess. And then under values, we'll do butcher. And I will try as I make more to keep them organized alphabetically. But now we'll just have to turn off butcher and butcher to turn off their stuff. But here's the other thing. I mean, I guess I just have to know that the butcher doesn't have armor. The butcher doesn't have initiative. So, doesn't have these either. So it's kind of annoying, but that's okay. And then I'll just save it off as its own thing. There you go. So it's a cost of 1. 0 initiative, 0 defense, just cost of 1, no victory points. So that's another thing. I have to turn off the victory points corner and the victory points amount. So he just costs 1, does 1 damage. That's that. And that's the butcher card. Make sense? I like it a lot too. Thanks, the bull. I think it looks neat. That's fun, isn't it? I really enjoy doing this stuff, even though I'm not the best at it. I just enjoy it. It's just neat. And then it's really fun to print them out and then play them with your friends. I mean, that's kind of makes me feel like a kid again, because that's when I started designing silly games. Wasn't very good at them at all. But all right, I'm gonna call this a stream. Now, don't forget, if before you go, do me a favor. I'm playing a joke on a friend, and I need your help. I need you all to go to YouTube and go to Board Game Casual. This is my friend's channel. He's been trying to grow it, and I need you all to go here, and I'll tell you why. We have a running joke about Gloomhaven. I've never played it with him. He played it once with his partner, and I played it once with my ex, or Jaws of the Lion. We both played Jaws of the Lion. I want to play the real Gloomhaven and actually give it a few games to really try it out. I want to get the sense of it, but he hates it because he just feels like it should be a video game, which it is now, and maybe it should be. But I need you all to go to this website, go to this YouTube channel. You don't have to subscribe or anything, but you can if you want, if you're into that. But find any video, doesn't matter which one, any video, and add a comment about Gloomhaven. Like, it could be like, hey, when are you going to review Gloomhaven? Or I really like to know how to make Gloomhaven cards. Or, wow, you don't suggest Gloomhaven after Catan? Or when are you going to review Gloomhaven? Anything. Say anything about Gloomhaven. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see him. I'm going over to the house. We're going to play games. Him and his partner. I'm bringing pizza stuff. We're going to make pizza. And then I'm spending the night there. We're going to do the Super Bowl on Sunday. It's going to be a fun time. And I'm not going to tell him that I told everybody to write Gloomhaven comments. But I want you to do that if you can. Please do. It's going to be hilarious if he comments about how he got all these Gloomhaven comments, and I'm going to laugh, and it's going to be very funny. You won't be there. I will be. I'll talk about it in the next stream. It's going to be hilarious. So please do me a favor. Go to Board Game Casual. Make a Gloomhaven comment. Do not tell him I sent you. Just make a Gloomhaven comment like it's a legit comment. That'd be hilarious, and you'll be helping me make a funny joke for my friend. And with that, I'm going to call this a stream. I'm going to say cheers with my not booze as a iced coffee that I didn't finish yet. Cheers to you. Thanks for hanging out. The Bull, thanks for all your help. Others, thanks for all your help as well. And I will see you all real soon. Bye.